episode 2. I'm still eating cream of rice. It's the same bowl. Just haven't finished it yet. Got my not cream rice as well. Brought to you by Football Sports.
Yeah.
Plug. What's your combo? Actually, I'm asking what's your combo?
Today, it is we got chocolate fudge brownie.
Can you not taste it to tell?
Yeah, but I couldn't remember if it was triple chocolate. I couldn't remember the exact name.
JP.
Yeah. Raspberries, staple. And coconut cream whey today. So it's like a bounty.
That's a good combo. I like differing combos. So if we do like a chocolate base and a more vanilla type topping.
You like weird fucked up shit like apple strudel with chocolate orange whey.
Yeah.
Like what is that?
That's true. Okay.
My favourite is cherry bakewell and then the like Biscoff to form. But cherry bakewell sets off my acid reflux. And I always forget and then I end up having it on leg day.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
Right. Remember you went for a period of time you constantly abuse your gut but you know about it. So like in off season, you're doing like blueberries every fucking time you come out bad.
All right,
but
mister.
You still do it.
All right, mister. I ate peppers at an off plan and then wondered why for 2 days I had gut ache, despite the fact I said, you probably shouldn't have peppers because you'll regret this for the next 48 hours. No, I won't. Oh, I don't know why my digestion's off.
That was, yeah, no, that's true. Well, I'll give you that. But that was the pied pizza from Turkish, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's still, though, like, I can have pizza at like a Turkish if it's done right. But if I have Domino's, I'm on an IV, quite literally. I literally am on an IV. Yeah. It's weird. It's just so much fresher. Right, we've got topics, but first and foremost, I want to talk about what was it? They called it on Reese's podcast, the trophy thief.
Oh yeah,
the trophy thief. Because we were there. We were there as well. We were there with my client Joe.
I was not there. I was not at a PCA show.
No, you were not at a PCA show.
To be fair, I spent most of it stood outside.
Yeah. I was there. Romana was not there. What is it? Did I actually hold it against you going to a PCA show?
I can't remember the exact wording on the contract, but say, for example, Full Bore did a FitX show and they wanted a guest poser, I'd be able to do that, even though it's a different federation because it's with my sponsor. But I shouldn't, I think it's something to do with like, I can go to these shows, I just can't put it all over my social media or shouldn't put it all over my social media. But ultimately, I was there to support Joe.
Yeah.
That and it would have been a really fucking boring day at home.
We were talking about this, weren't we? How cool would it be if you did a guest posing? Like on the run up to the Olympia to go through your routine and like get on stage, get your feet a bit wet again. So if anyone's out there and you've got Full Bore in your show, like sponsoring the show, I'll even get on stage with my step ones.
Oh dear God.
Pink ones as well.
I think they're more fuchsia, just to clarify.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be really, really cool. But even so, I mean, you wouldn't need Full Bore to sponsor a Two Bros show to do it because obviously the affiliation with NBC.
Yeah.
If Two Bros, if any of the sponsors are Two Bros, you've got an Olympian here. I'll say that forever. I think it's so fucking cool.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
You do it, and so I don't have to.
I do everything, so you don't have to because you're too modest. Yeah, that'd be really cool. So you go through.
You know, I'm too modest to empty the dishwasher, right? And empty the washing basket.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It's still that meme from Instagram. Then one person, there's in every household, there's one person that stacks the dishwasher like a military operation, and then there's the one person that stacks it like a raccoon on meth. One raccoon on meth.
Yeah. So the trophy thief.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened there? Because you had the tall and the short, and this guy was in the short.
I didn't see the short. I didn't
No.
see any of it, but I definitely didn't see the
You
short.
didn't see any of it, but you definitely didn't see the short.
Mm.
You turned up just in time.
To
If you
not.
were going to turn up to Joe's, we live streamed it. You saw Joe's, but you didn't see.
You video called me. I stood outside.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think he placed in the top 5. You know, it was very impressive though. Like first time the shows, it was packed. It was packed, wasn't it? And
from what I saw, the queue outside. Must have been that.
Yeah.
Although the queue was very, very long when we pitched up in Birmingham and I needed a piss.
Yeah. The juniors, I had to split them up in 2 classes. Never seen that in my life.
Yeah.
It's cool. Really cool.
Very cool.
But yeah, shit, Ruby's just like done a roll.
To contextualize this, we're sat with the patio doors open and Ruby is sunbathing outside. And she doesn't do it very often, but she's literally gone from lying with her legs one way to full on her back and then tipped over the other side. It's literally like a rotisserie chicken.
So she doesn't cook up on one side.
I know the logic behind.
Tan lines. She thinks about tan lines.
It's banoffee in that.
Yeah.
Oof.
I've got banoffee cream of rice from JP. I've got the banoffee, I think it's banoffee or something banoffee Sunday vegan way, which is the best way to make a sludge. Like
anyway, back to the trophy feed.
Well, yeah, I don't even think the dude placed top 5 or even top 10. He was just soft, and I'll be brutal with him because I thought what he did was absolutely outrageous. Like in bodybuilding, there are a lot of shitheads, but you know what we do when we're on stage? Showmanship. We always shake each other's hands. We don't do shit like that. And I'm guessing some kind of social media guy. I don't know how many followers he's got because I'm blocked from him anyway now.
Are you?
Yeah. anyone that commented on him holding the first place trophy got the block.
See, I got sent the post, and I like to do these things, so I did a little deep dive. He's got something. It was around like 10,000 followers or something like that
on Instagram.
Yeah. But then only like 15 posts or something like that. Advertising coaching. And then I thought to start off with he was taking the piss, but then we also don't know if he didn't go up to whoever won. Oh, she's just rolling over again. Whoever won, or anyone that came first and said, "Oh, do you mind if I borrow your trophy for a photo?" We don't know that. We're jumping on saying
but he still acted like he won.
Yeah.
He put in the post he won or something.
I'm just trying to see it from other perspectives.
There's another perspective. He's a prick. Yeah, not in bodybuilding, mate. Like Tom commented on it and he put it perfectly. Well done, mate. You got blacklisted from bodybuilding. I don't think anyone will ever coach him. Unless you're one of the shithead coaches, you probably will. But yeah, outrageous. What does he's done? That was obviously his first show, so his first time a show. He's now advertising coaching. He was soft as fuck. He was jello. He was yogurt, as you like to. He was yogurt, like petit filou. Yeah. And I wouldn't be that harsh if you didn't do that. I would say, you know what, like first time a junior, it's got potential, but no, for being a cock, absolutely not. We're harsh or want.
Sorry, I'm just watching Ruby being a sunbathing Frenchie.
Yeah.
Little somebody. Yeah, it was a bit.
The guy who won, though, you didn't see him. He won the junior short. He won the overall.
Manu, leave her alone.
He won the overall. He was impressive. Like condition could have been in more for sure, but junior first time, yeah, just physique wise, impressive. Like bubbly. Like his chest, delts, everything was there. It was very cool to see. Arms were insane. I think he was he must have been I think Turkish.
I don't know.
He definitely wasn't British because we're not blessed with those round muscle bellies at all. So yeah.
Yeah, it was don't know. That was an odd one, definitely.
Yeah.
Trophy thief.
Yeah. Overall though, the day was we were fucked, weren't we?
Oh mate. So fucked.
Well, we struggle with we both have a social battery in terms of there's only so much social we can take before we are in a hole for like 3 days. You were in a hole for like 3 days. I was in a hole for about a day and a half.
No, it was only Monday, Tuesday, really. Yesterday wasn't so bad. Yesterday was all right.
Yeah, part of that sleep, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Waking up at 3 a.m. and then not really going back to sleep. Bit shit.
Yeah.
Bit shit.
Yeah. But where was I? Yeah, it's social battery. We've both got a social battery. And this is the thing, because this was one of the topics I wrote down as it came up. When I'm in the gym, the reason why my hat is down low and I don't look up is because I'm legit. I've got a bit of anxiety now of people stopping me mid-session for a conversation and taking my energy away from me. Look, it started in prep. What can happen is you're mid-session, somebody takes your time from you, then because you're in prep, you're low energy. You have to try and regain that momentum of where you were. You're done. Your session's done, and it's kind of carried on through to off season. So if you see me in the gym, I'm not an arsehole, but I don't want to talk. I really don't. The best way you can be with me, give me a nod, give me a fist bump. I'm not taking my earphone out. If I take that earphone out, I'm fucked. Give me a nod, fist bump, and I respect you. You're in the gym. You're there to work, not there to socialise.
I mean,
if you want to socialise, cool, but not with me.
You've got to pick your audience. Like I used to be one of the people that, you know, when I was single and I didn't quite take bodybuilding so seriously, the gym was the place I went to see my people. And I think some of that's from CrossFit, which is a bit more sociable during a class. You know, you're doing partner workouts and things like that. I train on my own all the time, don't I? You might be in the gym, but ultimately, I don't train with anybody.
We can't even really train together, can we? No. It's so different.
He's very slow. When you're bigger, you need more rest period. And I'm used to redlining.
I'm not that slow now.
No.
I'm faster now.
But I think it was to start off with, we'd get to the gym and you'd go for a shit, write out your logbook, might end up chatting to somebody. Whereas I'm very much like, get to the gym, get on the cross trainer, warm up, get going kind of thing. And then if I want to hang around, I'll hang around afterwards.
Yeah. That's the whole thing.
But that doesn't mean your approach is wrong. It's just different.
No, but I mean, I had someone come up to me when I was in that same session. I was feeling it. I was just feeling all eyes on me. And it's as though people, they try and place themselves around you to gain that eye contact so they can get into conversation with you. You're going to make me resent you so much. There are people in the gym that I will not fucking talk to because they've shadowed me. They make me feel uncomfortable. I can feel them on my shoulder, breathing on me. And you're going to make me resent you so much because you're taking away from my time. My time, everywhere else, my time is dedicated to my clients. One time I get to be in my head, locked in, and it's cliche, but to me it is massive therapy. I can tell when I haven't trained to how I want to train. I feel shit in myself. Leave me to do that, because I know so many people can relate to this. Is they need the gym so bad just to feel level, and I didn't realize until I started having sessions where I was coming out of them not fully fulfilled, that how important that is to me, that time, or when I'm on a deload. Yeah.
Is you have that reason why you don't want to talk. And I mean, I get like leg day anxiety. It's a bit less in this current period of eating, but what I have been experiencing more recently is my sort of PTSD anxiety symptoms have been encroaching on my gym sessions more. Probably the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks? Longer? No, it used to be a problem with my cardio. Mainly because the Pure Gym we go to, there are some people from work that train there. So I'd see them in the mornings, and then that would get me in that space of thinking about work. And then it's almost like once you open a little crack, everything just barges its way through. But I didn't have the problem with the strength sessions until more recently.
I remember being a week out from my show.
Which one?
Not even a week, a few days out from the show, and you'll like it.
But that was only a week out from Toronto, which is only 5 weeks ago, which kind of, the timelines are relevant.
I guess so. We're just having a little couple argument.
But yeah, what I'm experiencing is it's worst on my chest days, but I will get tightness in my chest, tightness in my throat. I'm trying to regulate my breathing between my sets whilst being out of breath, whilst trying to ignore the fact that I feel tight around my throat and my chest. And if you've ever experienced that, it's really easy to get stuck in a panic loop. So I'm kind of having to tell myself, it's just the anxiety. There isn't anything crushing your throat. There isn't anything tightening your chest. And because of my medical knowledge, my little brain spirals as part of the anxiety wormhole, so to speak. So I actually, even to you, I find it really hard if I'm in that mindset to then talk whilst trying to breathe, whilst trying to self-soothe, whilst trying to ignore the fact that everything just feels really tight around here.
I don't talk to Mara in the gym. She talks to me, I'll talk back, but otherwise don't disturb.
I need that on my back, do not disturb.
I've got a t-shirt, I'm not that way every now and then.
People still don't pay attention to it.
So no, I've got a good resting bitch face. But it's like, it's just a feeling of somebody over your shoulder. Like, you always set yourself in a bit of kit, and they will go on a bit of kit in front of you, directly facing you. I'm like, don't look up, don't look up, don't look up. I looked up, fuck. Session's done.
There's a particularly awkward little bit in Unit 7 where you've got the pec fly directly opposite the seated cable row, and there's a female being on the pec fly with a lad sat on the cable row opposite. It's a very vulnerable position to be in.
Yeah, definitely. That was my little rant from this week, because I definitely felt it. I came home, I had legit, during the session, I had legit anxiety, and what didn't help, I didn't remember my earphones. I left them at home, didn't I? And the earphones saved me, because when I can hear other people's conversations and everything else, it stops me from being in my own bubble. That bubble is my happy place. In terms of between sets, I'm still not there. It keeps me out of that environment and puts me in my own little thing. But yeah, that was something that happened this week, and I was like, you know what? I've realised how important it is that people leave me the fuck alone when I'm training. It's nothing to do with that person. I've got a few issues with people in the gym because they haven't left me alone, or they've put me under pressure that I have to say hello to them every time I go in the gym. Because you say hello to someone one time, you now have to say hello to them every time you're in the gym. That's a problem to me. It's like, what is wrong? Going, right, fist bump, crack on.
I suppose it's those drivers why different people go to the gym. But I think what you need to be aware of is that, yeah, some people go to, I don't mean you specifically, I mean the generic you. Some people go to the gym because that's where they see their people, and some people go to the gym because that's how they deal with people. So they don't kill them.
When Alex was training me back into prep, he was my shield, he was my communicator with other people. But look, people would ask me for a spot when I'm 1, 2 weeks, 3 weeks out from a show. It's like, you fucking stupid. With your shitty reps in the incline barbell, and you want me to drag that off your chest. You'll want force reps because you want to try and prove a point that you train hard in front of me. No, you're just going to fuck my back up. I put my back out when I'm 2, 3 weeks out from the show. What are you going to say? Nothing. Oh dear. Yeah.
For the record, if anyone asks me to spot them between now and after the Olympia, you may end up being put through a wall by Dan.
Oh yeah, that's one thing. If you don't even say you ask Romana for a spot, oh fuck you up.
that's more of a testament to my frail old body than it is to anybody.
I correct that. It's just very, like, I'm joking. I won't hurt you, but I'll give you a bloody bollocking, because use your common sense that if you, through your stupidity, and it's all the young people in Unit 7 as well, through your stupidity of trying to impress a muscular female or whatever, that you've got her injured for the Olympia. And I was like this in the lead up to the pro shows as well. I will come down on you like a ton of bricks. You're just stupid.
We're not angry people, honest.
Oh no, I'm just elevated because it reminds me how angry it got me before. It's just, yeah. Anyway, what else?
Anyway, what else? Well, you nearly shit yourself 2 nights ago, thanks to
Oh,
Hilly
right.
Doc. I literally had a message composed for Hilly going, "Dear Mr. Hilly Doc," something about like, "I'm really pleased you've taken over Dan's diet, although it has hijacked my early night," as he's proceeding to try not to
Right.
shit himself in bed.
Right, I'll preface this because Healy hasn't fucked my digestive system. In fact, it is so much better, isn't it, already?
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing. What happened was when he set the diet up on Friday, it's Friday today, so last week, he put sauerkraut in at 20 grams every meat meal. And I've been waiting for the sauerkraut to come because I ordered it off a specific company that Mr. Hilly Doc told me to. He said it's the best one. So I thought, oh, I'll go with the best one.
It's actually named Ruby Red.
It's called Ruby Red.
So Ruby now thinks it's hers.
Yeah, so anyway,
she definitely shit herself.
Yeah, she does. It came the other day and I put it in my last meal because it was the only time I got a chance to put in 20 grams.
Wednesday,
and yeah, and then I started feeling my stomach gurgle. I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Lying in bed. Oh no.
Oh no. And I'm on my side. I'm like, have we got darker sheets? But no. Anyway, so I go to the toilet. It comes out like pissing through an eye of a needle. And then it's kind of like it's not. It's like
I'm getting a running commentary at this.
It's a bit of a lower abdo. It creates a great conversation for sex, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm getting.
In fact, he didn't get any that night because I was worried he might shit himself midway through.
Yeah. Fuck you, Hilly. Fuck you. No. So I'm getting this lower abdo kind of bloat, and I'm like, oh god, I think it's the sauerkraut. It must be the sauerkraut. Digestion been perfect ever since. Yeah, and I've had to have a few runs to the toilet, but I did not shit myself in night
this time.
Yeah.
So what was your thought process around going with Hilly? I mean, obviously I know, but
just to preface as well, I've reintroduced sauerkraut, but I got a different one, and so far it's been all right. So I'm having a day clear, then I'll go back to the Ruby Red, see if that sets me off. Because sauerkraut being a probiotic live bacteria, I think it was the introduction of that. So it might be clear now, so I can use that one. But digestion's been great. So Hilly, how'd that come about? So I was obviously in need. My priorities are definitely like to get better. My halt to progress has been like getting to like 288, didn't I? And I wasn't even like fat. I was still abs and whatnot. And I couldn't eat past it. Digestion just went to shit. At that point, yes, drug loads are pretty high. And you can't help but think the drug loads are contributing to the toxicity, which is reducing your appetite and whatnot. But it's like, where do I get my androgen load to fulfill the environment I need and still eat the food? And more importantly, petition the food correctly. And I'm like, well, I understand the chemistry or pharmacology of certain drugs, what impact they can have on neurotoxicity, the DAO enzyme and stuff like that. But I don't really want to just waste time and experiment doing this myself. So I thought, who in the UK, because I won't go to an American coach, I just don't think I get the attention.
I think it's that, and there's the time difference as well.
Yeah. So I thought, who in the UK would be good for that? Because previously, before that, I was going to just go with Martin. Martin's a close friend of mine, but also that's also an issue for me now. So I'm close with Tom as well, and I've just decided like close friends and coaching, probably not the best mix because
the coaching your partner's right.
Yeah, well, yeah, true. But I live with you, so I can see you every day. It's even you're getting the full package, quite literally. Yeah, it was one of those things with Martin where I kind of decided that my priorities are gut health. And I need someone that is specific to that. And Martin's such a close friend of mine. I'll even consider him one of my best friends right now. Like, because we do see each other weekly, we train together, we have a good laugh. And I don't want any issue that might lead to causing any tensions with that relationship, if that makes sense.
It's that sort of, to say you've been burnt is probably a bit extreme, but it does make you sort of not want to put yourself in a situation where you could risk a friendship.
Yeah. Not to say me and Tom are falling out at all, but it's no shit. Like after that show, it's a little bit like, you know, I don't want to put him in a position where he's my mate and that, and we got any kind of animosity together at all. So it's not like we're good. I don't want to see that. Tom's a close friend of mine. He will remain so. Just what happened happened. It happens. It's bodybuilding, right? So I didn't want a similar kind of thing to happen with Martin. And so Hilly was kind of going through other people as well. Was the first person I thought of in terms of he's a registered dietitian or a nutritionist, is he? He worked in the NHS for years. It's actually really important for me because a lot of people will say, well, what merit has that got for bodybuilding? The NHS are useless. They're not useless at all. Nutritionists. So what that does to me is, previous to Mana, I would have looked down on it. But what I've learned is somebody who has been registered and actually clinical and dealing with everyday populations, they have different perspectives on things. Your perspective is very, very different. I'm now applying to my clients as much frequently as I can.
I think through the conversations we've had, it's opened my eyes to the fact that there is a lot of crossover between the medical world and the bodybuilding world. And there's a lot that the bodybuilding world can learn from the medical world. And there are a lot of coaches out there who have, they've decided to be an online coach, but perhaps, I mean, I don't have PT credentials. I don't have any sports and exercise knowledge, but I've got 20 years experience working frontline in the NHS. I've got good knowledge of anatomy and physiology.
You downplay yourself massively. You're one of the most intelligent people. If I've ever got a question that's a little bit on the hormonal side that I don't fully understand in terms of the background behind it, I go to you and you give me a great answer.
Try to.
It's just the difference is you haven't yet been applying that to clients, and with time, and that's more of a learning how to coach with the communication side of it, and that's to come, isn't it? But your actual baseline knowledge has been fucking amazing for my coaching business.
I'll send you an invoice for the consults.
Oh, you get more than an invite. I'm very lucky. So there's that. There's the perspective it comes from actually being in the medical industry. It's totally different. That and being a registered nutritionist, he knows his shit. Not to say I don't, because I do, but he knows. It's different knowing it, but knowing how to apply it. And what we realized was in the first 2 days of the new diet setup, my digestion was so good.
Well, even just your what I thought was your normal abdomen, there's probably distension.
Yep.
Because now it's like not there.
Because my distension is actually not like what you'd think going that way is so much. When I've had a big meal, yeah, but my distension actually comes from like outer obliques out here.
That's more lower, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's like already like 1 week difference. It's already so much better. Like the stomach wall is flatter. I'm less inflamed through the obliques.
Got some of the water off already, hasn't it?
Oh, like for sure. Like massively. But there was also what you have to think about. It's not just setting up a diet in line with gut health, but PDs. There's no secret as to why.
Carry on.
There's no secret as to why my digestion and gut health has deteriorated over the years. And one, forcing food. I spent nearly 4 years in off season trying to get as big as possible, which had its merit, but there was some uncomfortable, I wouldn't say months, but years there, uncomfortable. If anyone's been off season and done it right, and to do that for years on end, just with little tidy ups here and there, not having a full reset, very bloody hard. So it's his knowledge on PDs as well.
But the thing about, just for those that don't know, when you're a registered healthcare professional, you have to demonstrate or be prepared to demonstrate every 2 years when you renew your registration what you have done within that previous 2 years to keep up your medical knowledge, to keep it current, continuing professional development. So he will have to pay a fee like I do as a paramedic. I think it's even under the same governing body, actually. I'm not entirely sure. The Health Professions Council. And like, yeah, I have to pay them an annual fee, and then every 2 years I have to be like, I've just re-registered, and I could get called to demonstrate my CPD development over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's a very specific document that you have to send them, and they audit it basically, and they pick out of each profession that has to re-register, they'll pick out a certain number. Some people have been unlucky and been called like 5 times, touch wood. I've been registered since 2008, and I've never been called to do a CPD folder for them.
Yeah,
I've probably cursed myself.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's also his background knowledge in PDs. I think I've known for a long time just via the JP forums. Early days, he was the man. He's somebody that doesn't get credit for the knowledge he has. He is incredibly intelligent. And my thinking here is that if we can use the right ratios of the right drugs to get the job done with increased partitioning of nutrients, because I'm actually digesting my food now, there's possibility there for lower drug loads. Not to say that I'm going to go safety model, because I think it's a load of bollocks for a super heavyweight bodybuilder. I don't think there's anything safe about bodybuilding to the extremes that we do it. But if it reduces my drug load even slightly, and it doesn't mean I have to go up more, fantastic. There's going to be longevity of career there, which at the end of the day, I'm still young. It's really
Very young.
It's seeing me actually be able to fulfill my potential rather than make it all in 2 years. I've got a lot of time. So that was there. And then I will always go through the people that I really trust their opinions. Friends as well, like Riz, he really backs Hilly. Obviously, he's a close friend of his, previously coached by him.
Mr. Crossland.
And more importantly, I hold Dave in high regard of his opinion of people. For the pure reason that Dave is incredibly moral, he's an incredibly righteous and moral
Doesn't
person.
suffer fools.
And he doesn't take bullshit very well. And Dave said to me in the past, it was at a FitX event. FitX, and that one, not Telford, the other one, Blackpool finals. And that's when I first actually met Hilly in the flesh. And Dave said to me after, he said, that guy, incredibly intelligent, I hold him in high regard. And that's always stuck with me. If Dave thinks that's someone, they're very, very good. So he was, when I told Dave I've actually gone with Hilly, he was very, very happy with my thought process there. Probably the first coach I've had that he's approved. It's like a dad with like a girlfriend. It's like the first girlfriend
I think
my dad has approved.
Don't know how Hilly would feel about being your girlfriend.
No, he's a lucky bitch.
Yeah, so that's the big thing this week, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, not much has changed training wise. I mean, so a little bit higher volume, but the amount of volume I'm doing, it would have been the amount of volume I would have pyramid up to anyway. It's just on post show, so it's like, no, it's just post show, post travel and stuff like that, and don't just get my sleep back on track from travel. So I'm now there where we want to be, training 5 days a week at the moment. More of a bro split, but I'm quite enjoying it.
He's also pulled you eating in the middle of the night as well, isn't he?
Yeah, because I always used to get one of my meals in the middle of the night, and now I'm so regimented on my meal timings, I'm getting them all during the day.
But he also told you not to eat
in the night. Yeah, because you're not giving your digestive system a rest at that point, are you?
Yeah.
So that's been great. And my sleep now, I've been sleeping through. I got up for one piss last night. I've been sleeping through, unlike some people.
Yeah.
It's been like so nice actually just get long sleep. I can't remember the last time.
You're waking up earlier, aren't you?
Yeah, so my sleep time and bedtime has changed. So we're getting into bed earlier, and I'm up at about 5. And game changer for productivity. Soon as my prep clients check in, bang, 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 straight on it. Then I go out for my morning walk with Manu, which early daylight exposure is so good for your circadian rhythm. It's been really good. Really good.
My sleep's still shit.
Yeah, yours is. I think we need a hilly doc.
No, I yours is a hilly doc.
No, yeah. No, your sleep's different reasoning though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your whole it's your PTSD, isn't it? Really, your head doesn't want to switch off
ever. ever. And I think a lot of it as well is like 20 years in the ambulance service. You know, there are times when on a night shift you'd have the opportunity to doze off, and that you're constantly still on high alert. So when you wake up, it's like bang, ready, got to do something. What's happening? What's going on? So when I wake up, it's quite a struggle to settle back to sleep and to go back to sleep. And initially, I was struggling to get to sleep. Now I get to sleep quickly, but easily woken, and then it's like I kind of doze from about 3 a.m. Although I did up the Zoppy claim last night, which helped.
You pulled away from it for a bit, didn't you? But you've had to put it in.
Yeah.
It's a case of as well, I think, setting you a little bit further. I know it's not prep related as such, but I think knocking out the habit of in prep, you're constantly waking up anyway, despite it was not in prep, but it was only like 1 or 2 weeks out, you were waking up due to like prep symptoms. I know it's not just prep symptoms, you were waking up a lot.
Yeah, but that wasn't prep, because every other prep, I've slept like a baby. There's been, I think there was...
You got leaner for this one.
There was one prep, I think it was the lead up to my pro debut, where I went through a stage of waking up at 4 a.m. But to put it in perspective, I was in bed at 8 every night.
Yeah.
So you sort of slide your... But no, I've never woken up on prep hungry, like in the night.
But the whole getting up early means I need to go to bed earlier, which helps you as well. Because,
all of a sudden,
like, but it's part of why I've done that. Hilly hasn't told me to get up earlier. It's why I've done that is because we know that when you miss sleep, your ability to self-soothe your condition is shit.
Yeah,
it's really shit. Yeah, shit. So if I can do whatever I can do to at least make her next day easier on herself, I mean, I'll try and do it.
Wow, according to the therapy session I had earlier today, which is why I'm a little bit of a space cadet this afternoon. Apparently I'm going to sleep much better after that. I'm not entirely sure how.
You'll be better off having a wank. It does the job. You're thinking about it now, aren't you?
I'm wondering why you're suggesting having a wank.
Oh.
What are you going to do?
Watch.
Oh dear. It's gone downhill quickly.
Yeah. Right. That's off that subject. They don't even know about our sex lives.
Well, you're the one that keeps talking about it.
It's funny. It's funny to see you embarrassed.
Hardly.
Okay. I'll get you later on the podcast. I'll try. But yeah, so Hilly, that happened. Really happy. Blocked the toilet a few times. So he did that as well.
Thank you.
Mega shits. Really good.
If anyone was tuning in for like high quality broadcasting, literally the topics are in the toilet today.
Yeah, it's been one of those days, isn't it?
Yeah. But we did have a sports psychology session.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we had an introduction. We both have different areas we want to address, but both really circling back to self-belief to an extent.
Yeah, so like how I said before was like we within our training system or within our nutrition, we're always trying to get better at something. So for me right now, my nutrition is to improve my gut health. Within my training, I'm trying to bring my legs up. And how about like actually work on what's up in here? I've got areas that I want to work on up there to make me a better athlete and a better coach. And that's self-investment. You know, I'll do that for sure. And I think that's actually missed. Like the athlete part, okay, it's more, it makes a lot more sense, but I don't see a lot of coaches investing in sports psychology to
if they are, they're not talking about it.
Maybe they're just born and good at it.
I don't know. Or maybe we've just not found where they have talked about it.
Yeah, it's been quite interesting, just that introductory session, because Jerry, he works with pro athletes, he works with Olympians, not bodybuilding Olympians, but Olympics, pro golfers and whatnot, rugby overseas. He works with a lot of top athletes, but we're his first bodybuilders. So it's a bit of a different background for us.
But what I really liked was the fact that he wanted to learn about the sport and about the process to better help us. Like, he was wanting Dan to send across any resources around. We were talking about the effect of cortisol on sort of water retention, and you know how that can affect the look on show day. How when you are depleted and you do get to those points of really low body fat, how that can affect your cognition. And he was wanting to learn about that. He took our Instagram pages to have a look to see, you know, what it's actually like. And I think that openness to understanding is pretty crucial, because it's all very well trying to apply techniques that you use for other sports, but perhaps they're not going to be so relevant. Like the team psychology, you know, bodybuilding is individual. You don't have to consider other people on your team in the same way that you would do playing rugby or football or hockey or anything.
But yes, but no at the same time. When you have a coach-athlete relationship, like us, we are a team.
Yes,
the way we do it.
But performance on the day wise, you can't get up on stage in my bikini and do my routine for me. That would just be ludicrous.
No, I'd pull it off. I'd probably rip it, but I'd put it off somehow.
I've now got an emblazed image of you in some sort of fuchsia pink creation that Suze has done.
I think Suze, when she sends you your Olympia suit, should send me one.
That's Miss Bikini Fitness, another shameless sponsor plug. But yeah, that would be oh dear God, I need to get the image out of my head now.
I'm looking at it right now. It's glorious.
It's definitely fuchsia.
Yeah, I pull it off really well, don't I? Fuchsia.
Oh yeah, but I'm not with the sequins.
Okay, you need conversations with my mum. She used to dress me up as a girl. No, this is legit, right? How fucking cruel. I can't remember. I was too young, but her and her mate thought it'd be fun to put me in a dress.
I'm going to ask her for photos.
Yeah, well, so I was meant to be a girl, believe it or not. I was the first designer baby. I think, you know what? I think fucked it up. Right, so I was meant to be the first designer baby, but there was one child that was born before me, like a couple of days, that ended up being the first. I was the second. It was quite a big thing. It was on BBC and all that.
Claim to fame.
Yeah, that's my claim to fame. And I ended up coming out as a fine specimen that I am. And it was basically eliminating the XY cells to preserve more XX cells, so that you have higher probability of being.
Is that why I've got such high estrogen?
Probably. What a trend. 1 or 2. But you know what I think? You know what I think fucked up. So I obviously came out as a boy, and it was like 2% possibility that I would come out as a boy, but I still did. I think it's because my dad was on cycle. Well, he is. He was on Deca when I was conceived. I think my dad fucked it, and he paid all that money to fuck it as well.
Brilliant.
For the IVF.
Brilliant.
It's on him.
Mm.
Yeah.
Your dad's fault. Bet you're just like, fuck this, I want another boy. Up the Deca.
Yeah. Where were we?
Sports psychologist.
Yeah. Well, in general, we have our first session with him, hopefully next Wednesday in person. We thought it'd be good to get an in-person one first and just go in and out of in-person so you can get a feel for us. I think we took him by surprise how introspective we are and how we know what's going on. But knowing what's going on when you do have issues on that front still doesn't mean you can control them when it comes to controlling them.
So I think I've got quite a good understanding of my PTSD, but it doesn't mean I can control it in any way, shape, or form.
It's like, you could, not saying she's fucking smash windows, she doesn't get that angry, but you could smash a window and then go, I know why I smashed that window, I threw a rock at it.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it's like.
But it's like, why did I pick the rock up and throw it at it to start off with?
Yeah, because people wouldn't leave you alone in the gym.
It's a good job I didn't throw that bit of bread at you when I had that meltdown. That was quite a sizable lump of bread.
Yeah, I threw a protein cookie at you once.
Oh, you did, and twatted me in the nose.
Yeah, I did.
Still didn't cry.
It was an accident. You did a little bit.
No, that's like a tear from your eye because you just, you know, like your nose is quite sensitive. I had it when I had my nose pierced as well. It's like that involuntary type thing.
Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Oh, hi.
Podcast momentarily interrupted by Manu.
Hello. Who's hello to you?
Hello.
Hello.
Don't want to get
Oh my
climbed.
word. Oh my word.
No climbing. Come on.
Get her. Give her the pink thing.
No. Come on.
Yeah, so
I was going to say, dude, this is really interesting for those listening.
yeah.
Manu, come on.
Dude.
Down. One.
Down, down.
Pass me looking for.
Yeah, go play outside.
Go and bug Ruby.
Yeah, so we got that first session and it should be good. I'm looking forward to it. As I say, if you can level yourself up in any way, shape, or form, we're at the point now you take enough drugs. Why aren't you doing everything else as well?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Train your body, train your mind.
It's the first sort of therapy you've really engaged in, isn't it?
Never had counselling in my life.
Yeah.
Probably needed it, but bodybuilding did a good job at raising me. So, yeah, but it seems like bodybuilding's caused a few of these issues as well. So, yeah, definitely. It's hard to pinpoint what my issues really are. There's definitely lack of self-belief, which I think is very common. Very common amongst bodybuilders because we are perfectionists when there is no such thing as perfect, but we still look for it. And we still never think we're good enough, big enough, lean enough, or whatever it is. But it gets to a point for me that, you know, full disclosure, there was a show in 2021 that I pulled out of when I was coach with Cuba. When I reflect, I look bloody brilliant. I said it was down to anxiety, and yeah, the person I was with at the time wasn't making things easier. It's real fucking hard to do that prep when I was still with her. But a lot of that was self-doubt. I weren't good enough yet. And that's to be honest, that's the real reason that I spent so long in off season. Yeah, the muscle tissue is being worth to have and to gain in that time, but it was a lack of, like, I did not think I was good enough yet. Really, what it was. And I guess the build up of not good enough yet, and then finally doing a prep where I did finish. It was almost like anxiety of, fuck me, am I actually going to get on stage this time? Yeah.
But then you also had, on top of that, feeling pressure to perform at a certain level because of being a coach.
Definitely. I do feel it's less now. Well, it's probably actually a little bit more now since the universe, because the universe is what really triggered it that day. Really did cause a lot of stuff up here. Was that I turned up that day and looked absolutely shit, like really shit, and I couldn't pose because my body was locking up, dehydration and whatnot.
Don't do rounds in the sauna, kids.
Yeah, diuretics, rounds in the saunas, it will fuck your body up. It will leave a horrible look. But
and from a medical standpoint, you could actually die.
There was a moment I was with Nat, I was sitting outside the sauna. I was like, look, because I nearly pulled out that show. I did.
I think if I'd been in Birmingham,
I wanted to because I knew it was going to be an absolute shit show. But I thought at least I can pose and enjoy myself. I couldn't even do that. My body was so fucking dead. I couldn't even pose, and I was still watery. And the diuretics in the sauna had rinsed me dry, so I looked fucking skinny.
The problem is, you're already in a depleted state. It was a hot day. You'd spent a long time in a car, got diuretics in your system. Although, yes, you were water loading, you still have the diuretics in your system.
But they're in loops, aren't they? So, yeah.
But you've also then put yourself in the sauna and put yourself under physiological stress.
It was the heat stress.
Physiological heat stress is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
And there are...
Fucking stepping out that sauna every round was like legit panic attack because there's something cold from what you're pushing it.
But on a physiological level, you're exposing yourself to high heat environments where water manipulation is occurring. The chances of, basically, for want of a better word, you cooking your insides inside the sauna were pretty high.
That night I felt so shit.
Yeah.
I felt so ill.
Yeah. And that was probably why your decision making was off, because your brain is overheating.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I was with Nat in the changing rooms before. It was like we had an hour till tanning, the base coat. And I was sitting there, I was making a decision. It's like, right, I've got two options here. Pull out the show and be kind to my mental health because I know it's going to backfire on me. The whole industry of the universe, I'm going to turn up at like 20 or 15% of what I am. And I've got to suck that up. Or I can do this and try and bring it back, which I knew deep down I knew it wasn't possible, but I was trying to be positive. And the main thing was it was killing me was how am I going to tell Marna this? Like coming from a medical background, she wasn't with me. She was going to turn up the next day. I was sitting there, it's like, this is actually a really big risk on my health. And I've never been health conscious before until I met you. And I thought, fuck, this is, yeah, because I felt like shit already.
What he did was not to tell me how bad the edema was.
The fucking pitting, I lost my finger and my leg.
So there's, again, from a medical perspective, there's a difference between having water on your ankles and pitting edema. Pitting edema is very specific, and it is where you basically you press into, it's normally ankles, you press in, and instead of it kind of rebounding straight the way out, because the water retention is so bad, you leave a dent, and that dent, he's still getting dents a little bit, not as bad as it was.
It's actually kind of normal now. Like you expect when you're a heavy guy, you expect a bitter, like when you wear a higher sock.
There's a difference between having a sock line.
Well, that's what it is, a sock line. I've got it now. That's what it is right now. See it there?
That's still, I'd say, argue too much.
Probably.
You can't even get your foot up to the angle for the laptop to be able to see it. It's not pitting though, having just poked it. That's the difference. That's just edema. And it is very hot down here again today. But typically we'd see pitting edema in patients who have like water on the lungs, their heart isn't working properly, their liver's playing up, causing a backlog of blood pressure and hypertension and all sorts of nasty things like that. There's more complex to it as well, but right now I can't remember. I'm also very aware of getting things wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, so the whole mental thing of that was sitting outside and just making that decision. Do I go ahead with this and do this, or do I be kind to myself and just don't compete and go there to watch? And I obviously chose to go do it. I wasn't in a positive mindset all day. Like you told me try and snap out, but I don't think you realize how bad it was.
No, I told you to stop telling people that it was that you were off and that you looked fucked, and that wasn't because I thought it could do anything about the look, but I could just see you every time you were talking to somebody, you do this more and more and more. And in my head, I was like, you can't go on stage being utterly deflated.
But when every person I know comes, is it on? Is it on? What are you looking like? What do I tell them? They go, yeah, mate, on, totally on. And then I turn up on stage and I know I'm off.
No, but you didn't have to go in. What I was getting at was just like, just don't talk to him.
I think I must have spent about 45 minutes in the pump up area, didn't I? Just to be on my own. Just the one thing that could keep my mind clear, put some earphones on, start moving some weights around, got on the bench press, did some things, did some rows.
Apologies to the gym there that's now covered in a slight
dream tan
coat of dream tan.
Yeah. Then coming out of that show immediately when I came off stage, it was absolute shit show. I couldn't pose, everything locked up. There was no mental clarity at all. I had no midsection control because you're dehydrated and the carb load and stuff. I had no midsection control at all. Immediately, I got off stage. To the side of the stage was Marna was like pointed that way immediately, which I'm so grateful you did. Get me the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
And we were behind stage for quite a while, weren't we? Just yeah.
They got to a point where I was like, there are people here that are here for you. You have to go and speak to them.
How long do you reckon we were back there for? 40 minutes? About 40 minutes. I didn't want to see one person. In retrospect, Manu, stop it.
He's digging.
No.
Holes in our rented garden. Guess what Dan's winter job is?
Unless you find me some gold, son.
Don't you dare come on the sofa with muddy paws.
Yeah. Yeah, so after that, Dave very kindly gave me an IV, made me feel a bit better, which did. It really worked. Really good. Eval, shameless plug, another one. Yeah, just it wasn't. Martin he was backstage looking at one of these people, and when you see what it was like, he didn't say one word. He just said, "I know." He got it. It meant a lot that he didn't say anything. He knew, because Martin had seen me throughout prep and he see what I looked like, and he knew that it was very, very off. And at that point,
We'd seen you on like Wednesday, hadn't he?
I think so, yeah. And
or Tuesday,
Monday, yeah, and he knew what to say, and it was very little. He just gave me a nod as if to say, "Yeah, I know." So yeah, and that was that. And coming away from that is the podcasts that are being made talking about the show, and it's like you don't fucking get it. You don't get it. And there's people as well who like to think that that was me, like, I weren't that bad. Mate, that's a fucking insult. It was fucking terrible. It was really bad. And I think people like to think that was good for me. No, not at all. Yeah. It was yeah, I'm not gonna lie, as we spoke about this, trying to diagnose a little bit like how I'm feeling. It's what there's two different things. There's PTSD. I haven't got that. I haven't got what she got. Fucking hell, Jesus. But then there's trauma. And yeah, there is. So you knew a little bit, but I kept it in a lot when I went to that first time to show, the PCA show. Just go back to a PCA show and see everyone again.
You were debating going to the one the week before, weren't you? That I couldn't have come to.
I would have went. I declined going.
And I would have loved to have seen him as well.
The only reason I went to the PCA first time show, well, yeah, I had client in it, which Joe knows he's fantastic, but he would have understood. But the only reason I was able to go was because you were with me.
Yeah. And you were in a real dilemma about whether to go to the Norwich show.
I was like I prepped all my meals just in case.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't do it.
But also, to contextualize it, we'd only been back from Canada 4 days. And we knew we were away the following weekend. And it's that little bit of, sometimes you have to say no for yourself. And for me, that show, to go to Suffolk and try and do that, the way, like, I'd had my job interview on the Friday. I'd also had some counselling coming up on the Monday, my first trauma counselling session. So I was feeling a little bit vulnerable. And I just had to say no. It wouldn't have done me any good to have been in the car 6 hours to Suffolk, spent the weekend in Suffolk, as much as it would have been nice to see like your family and stuff. I mentally wasn't in the right place. I was still I've forgotten, because I hadn't prepped for 18 months. I'd forgotten how much coming off prep fucks you. And it's like, you came off prep and jumped straight on the fucking plane to Canada.
Yeah, after that mess. Because on the Thursday was your athlete registration. I was bent over the table, grey, sweating, feel like shit.
That was blueberries as well, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know, but the flight from the water tension did not make me feel good.
You were, I think that was the Friday, and that was blueberry induced to an extent. But on the plane, there were times where I was like, he's fucking grey. What do I do? We're somewhere in the middle or above the middle of the fucking ocean, and you're grey and a little bit sweaty.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. Tell you what, though, I must say is, because I was really nervous about that PCA show, and I walked in and Mara had gone to the toilet, so I hadn't found her yet, but I had to go in and get some seats so I could see Joe on stage. And I went round the outskirts of the where the seats are, and near the front, Josh, luckily it's fucking Josh, was sitting on his own. So so I went and sat with him, and it gave me a lot of comfort. Josh is a close friend of mine, and he did not mention anything to do with the show. None of that. It was just catching up like mates do. And he doesn't actually realise that how apprehensive I was to be there in front of the stage again. And he really put me at ease. And it was just being a mate. He didn't say anything about the show. None of that. We didn't talk about that. Just big old Josh Law taking up 3 chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
nearly crushed me when they gave me a hug.
Yeah. Fucking, he looked huge.
He did.
I've never seen him like that.
It was like
massive.
both of us sat in one chair.
Yeah. It's goals.
Yeah.
How much did he weigh, you reckon?
Don't know. We could do like one of those
330?
competitions like they do with a jar of sweets. Guess how many sweets in the jar. Guess how much Josh Law weighs.
I reckon you must have been about 320. 320.
You wait.
330.
I'll have to ask after this.
Yeah, massive. But yeah, so that happened, and yeah. But it's just working through now, obviously leading up to next shows, whenever that is next year. I will compete next year because I do have to get on a run of competing again. Just to give me better, next year will be better and easier to get in legit condition. I was lean, glutes were good, but it's not like onion skin, and that's my standard, isn't it? I guess. And I'd been off season for so long, had brown adipose tissue that's been sitting there for a while. It's very, very hard to dig into that. And it was actually Hilly who told me that before I started prep. He said this year you won't hit it, next year you will.
Yeah.
And he said that to me, and I was like, oh, fucking all right. And you're probably right, to be honest.
But you say it about certain like people, you know, like your juniors that may not have dieted before.
Well, like Joe on the weekend, like we tried to, he will push and push until I tell him to stop. There's no stopping that kid, but we pushed down and down and down, and his physique was withering away. For what? He wasn't gaining more detail. It was only until the Wednesday, the week before the show, I said, right, no more. You're losing so much from your physique. Even the high days, no. So we had to start with pulling cardio out, bringing calories up. And we found that when he was at like 201, 202, he was more detailed. And he got some of the fullness back, but lesson learned, his body was not ready to be striated head to toe on the glute. So the better look come from that. With time, more he diets, that detail will come through. Similar to me at the universe, similar to Nat at the British. Nat won a British and he didn't have fully striated glutes. He was lean, he's fucking shredded, but sometimes he hadn't dieted down to that extent before, had he? And he'd been a long time off stage since he was a teenager. But next time he diets, it's going to be easier for him to dig into those more stubborn body fat.
Dangerous.
That's very dangerous. He's looking crazy. Did I show you the pictures he sent post-workout? I posted one today.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, he I think people might think his legs have come down. No, they're not. They're bigger than ever. It's his upper body has caught up to his legs, and that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Very dangerous. He's currently, I want to say, I haven't got my phone there. I want to say he's like 240 or 239. He started his last prep at 236. He did not look like that starting prep. Like he's lean. He's lean. So he's put on, I want to say probably near 20 pounds, no, 15 pounds legit tissue, I think. And we did most of that push up TRT. Most of it, pretty much all of it. Yeah, post show. Didn't need it.
Because that's only been since October, really, hasn't it?
He didn't need drugs at that point. His body was so responsive.
Makes me excited for our proper off season.
Yeah. Women's bodybuilding.
No. Nah.
The WPD in there.
Yeah.
The only person that could relate to you in women's bodybuilding is that Angelina. Yeah.
She's fucking sick.
Similar shape.
Yeah. She's shorter as well. But then Andrea Shaw is pretty tall, I think, off the top of my head.
Not sure.
Don't know. I think she's definitely taller than Angela.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But then having seen female pro bodybuilders in the flesh in Toronto, it's like I'm not better.
Not yet.
And I don't know.
Not the big, not the Olympians.
No, not like big. I only know her as IFBB Mule.
Jules?
Is it Julia?
Julia?
I think it might be Julia.
I don't know. She was in Pure Muscle, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Standing next to her, I was like, "Ooh, next level."
She's big.
I thought my back was dense. Ain't got no shit on that.
I don't know about the back. Like her back was better than yours, but
It's denser.
yeah, it's
Thicker.
denser. What it was to me was her ham and quad depth
Yeah.
standing from the side. It was very impressive.
Yeah.
Just stand there, man. Cool.
She had I think Justin was saying she had some issues with the peak and the mortar manipulation. She had a reaction to something or something, didn't she?
Did she?
Yeah.
'Cause I thought she wasn't as detailed as her last show in New
Yeah.
York.
He did say something like that. I think somebody said something like that. Anyway, I don't know. I was post-show. I was high on cookies in second place.
I'm meeting Justin Shire.
Yeah.
Lovely guy, by the way.
Totally lovely guy.
Very, very like probably one of the nicest guys in bodybuilding. He was cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. He's gonna do well with his pro shows, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I noticed from him was like the thickness, like his forearms and calves are insane. He's good.
Yeah. I can't stop yawning, which isn't great for a podcast.
No.
But
Right, do you want to yeah, that's me, my little trauma of the universe. I'll get over it. Just need some time. I got a lot better than I was, to be fair. For me this is the first time I've spoken about it. That's just it was more so coming away from the show, so upset with it, and then thinking like I wanted to get back in prep immediately and do another show, but I've got to wait a whole year to put it right.
just to kind of, from what I saw in the lead up to the show regarding the peak, and I'm not the only one that saw it. Like we said, Martin saw you, Alex saw you, Nat saw you. The Tuesday and the Wednesday, you were fucking on it. And then the carb up begun.
It was just too much.
And you got into bed on the Friday night. And I didn't say it because why would you? But in my head, I was like, knowing Dan and his digestion, he was like out here full of carbs. And in my head, I was like, I don't know how that's going to come off before Sunday. Again, knowing you and your digestion. So it's just too much.
Yeah. I remember hitting the first 400 carb. And at that point, I was obviously good. It was only 400 carb. I was fucking tight as well. Like my skin felt like I was going to split. It was cool. I don't need a lot. When you've been pretty much near enough zero carb for that many weeks, your body is like a bloody sponge.
But then it's also thinking from a medical standpoint. If you deprive a body from carbs, your body's digestive system will slow down. So the peristalsis within your gut and your digestive tract will slow down because it doesn't have the input to warrant it performing like it would do. So you've been zero carb for X amount of weeks, quite a large amount of weeks. The only real carb source was cream of rice pre-workout.
No, I had no carbs pre or post workout.
Oh, no carbs pre. You had one cream of rice meal, didn't you?
Yeah, it was my last meal.
Yeah,
so,
and then a little bit of veg sprinkled throughout the day in your meals. But
yeah, there was a point I was saying no veg.
Yeah, so you've gone from that. Your body, like for all we know, you could have no, because you still had some carbs in, so it's unlikely you would have gone properly into ketosis.
No, I wouldn't have.
Yeah. But anyway, what I'm getting at is you've got a slow, sluggish digestive system, and you then introduce a fuck ton of carbs. Like on somebody whose GI is delicate on a good day, mid-off season, with the same food sources, like it could literally, to upset your GI, it could be something as simple as we normally get our meat from Tesco's. Tesco's is shut, so we've gone to the co-op. That could impact your GI.
Yeah,
it's that sensitive. So to then put a fuck ton of carbs on top of it, no wonder it struggled.
As well, something to consider. I went into that show very stressed. A stressed body won't assimilate carbs very well at all. I was very, very stressed. I felt a lot of pressure for the universe. The whole comparison with me and Craig and stuff, I fucking hated it. So did Craig. Craig hated it as well.
That was one of your topics, wasn't it?
What?
that you put on the list.
What coaches comparing their own athletes against each
Yeah.
other. I think it's totally wrong.
Yeah.
Totally wrong to do that. As an athlete mentality, your check-in is your check-in. It's not anything to do with another athlete. No matter if you're friends or anything like that, your check-in is about you. It's not saying, oh, well done, you're going to be good. Oh, so-and-so is going to do really well as well and whatnot. No.
It's something I struggled with a little bit, was there was a mention of other athletes. And I have enough self-doubt for myself. I don't need somebody else sprinkling a little bit of, oh, so-and-so is going to do better than, or is going to do really well. Or, you know, they're aiming for this, you're aiming for that. It's like, I just think, you know, you shouldn't, like you say, even if you are friends.
You spoke to the person though, so they know you
Yeah.
can say it.
I know, but I'm still, I don't know.
Do you think?
It's when you're in that depleted state, and I was already dealing with a lot of intrusive thoughts, to then have a mention of somebody else who, you know, I consider to be better, it's another thing to get in your head and have intrusive thoughts about.
It's even harder when that person is a really close friend of yours as well.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there was a time before you had your success where nobody saw what we saw in person. Like,
Well, you say we, I didn't say it.
I mean, our circle.
Yeah.
What we knew how good you were, and I knew, because I said it to you early on, but I stopped saying it because you can't be told you're going to win and all this.
No.
I said a while ago you could go to Olympia this year. There was a check-in. I remember a check-in. I was behind your camera. I was watching you go through your rounds. I that evening I was talking to my mum on the phone. And I said, I think she's going to go to Olympia this year. I remember saying it, like, and as well, going back to the lack of self-belief, you won't see that. So and with you, I can't tell you you're going to win. And it doesn't work for your head. It just creates more pressure. But at the same time, like whenever your name is mentioned in the industry, but this other person's name is mentioned, as soon as your name is brought up, you can't be your own person. And it makes you constantly in that person's shadow. No matter like if you're friends with them or whatnot, it's very, very hard to keep that athlete mentality when you're always second peg. So yeah, the whole thing.
The other person gets it too, as well.
Yeah, the other person gets it too. Like they're like best friends. Like, and the other person actually gets it the other way around, which like
Helps.
In a way it does, but at the same time, you know how that feels. It's not nice at all.
It's not their fault.
No, not at all. But it's everyone else. Like whenever Romana's name is mentioned in the industry, this other person's name would pop up for no reason at all, other than just because they feel like it needs to pop up. And that's like,
somebody would start a conversation with me in my DMs. We'd go back and forth, and then they'd be mentioned, and it's like, I thought you wanted to talk to me.
no,
I don't know how to explain it.
No, but like especially at a point where you were the person that nobody ever saw, and they're still not seeing you. How like you see, I know you don't see it like that, but I see it like that. It's like I see what I see. I see somebody who's going to the fucking Olympia this year. You're too fucking good not to. But yet every conversation you'd have, their name would pop up as soon as your name was mentioned. It's like, oh, and so and so's doing this. It's like, what have they got to do with me? Yeah, I am my own person as well, you know, like I have my own identity.
Yeah.
I
suppose it's like part of it as well is being able to bask in the sort of limelight of your success, and it's something that I'm not very used to at all. Like we had a conversation on the way up to Birmingham where basically we worked out Dan has won more shows than I have. I've only won 2 shows ever. My pro card and then the pro show.
I've only ever not won 2 shows. That's the Universe and the British in 2019.
And that's to get your head into allowing yourself to have some pride in that success. And then whenever your success is being talked about, the success of your success is being compared to the success of another person. And it's almost a bit like,
give me one, please.
Yeah.
Fuck me. I've just gone to the fucking Olympia and you're already mentioning so-and-so. And you've had this all throughout prep, all throughout off-season, and you're always second peg to this person. It's not a nice feeling. Like, let that person be their own person. Let me be my own person.
Yeah.
That's only fair on both people.
And, I think it's fair our physiques are different.
Very. Very.
Mine's old as fuck.
But you're both broken.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard. I think.
So if you're a coach watching this and you want to help the psychology of your athletes, try not to mention other athletes.
Especially when they're literally one day post-show after going to fucking Olympia and you mention them there and then. It just, you kind of just shit on it all, really.
Pissed on my chips a little bit.
Pissed on your chips a little bit, yeah.
And that has absolutely no bearing on the want for success for the other person.
Oh, no, absolutely not. No, it doesn't, because they're close friends, both of us, aren't they? But yeah, so that one. So if you're a coach, all for coaches, don't compare your athletes. There's this whole mention of teams and stuff, yes, as a community, but when you're focused on that person's show, you do not compare so-and-so to so-and-so. Let that person be their own person.
Yeah. And you've adjusted, you're conscious or cognizant of doing it, because I'm sure you won't mind saying, so Joe competed and you did an in-person check-in with Aaron, and you mentioned on the team I can't get my letters out, Team DB chat about Joe, and then you were debating posting Aaron as well.
Yeah, but I thought, no, it's Joe's day.
Yeah.
Joe's day. He's just competed his first show and he's come so far. It's his time.
Yeah. You don't want the team then to be kind of detracting from
Joe's success.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He's earned that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. Next topic, what we got?
I think sorry.
I would like to we'll go for that one last. We talk about coaches becoming flashy.
Okay.
Right. There is a trend in the industry that coaches are now fucking rock stars, and they're putting more attention on their marketing and social media than actually doing what their job is to do, and that is to be a coach, be there for your athletes. And they're living all this fancy cars and expensive watches and all that, whilst they've probably got like 100 messages in a WhatsApp that they should be replying to their clients.
I think it's even down to, if you've got time and energy to post something up on Instagram, that time and energy should really go into replying to that client first.
Even this podcast, before I've done this podcast, all my check-ins are done.
And we're also on a time constraint because you've got a consult afterwards.
Yeah, with Louis and I. That's in 40 minutes.
Yeah,
I'd like to get a meal in
40 minutes of us.
We won't fill that 40 minutes up.
He says that.
We won't. But yeah, the bottom line is, this guy's like flashy coaches and whatnot. Yeah, like on the Instagram, it looks all cool and stuff like that. And everyone wants to be the top coach. But there's a reason so many of their athletes are leaving, and pay attention to that. And instead of messaging the athletes that are currently with them, do that, but message the ones that have left them. And I see why. Then message another one and see if a trend starts forming, because a lot of these coaches are becoming over busy. Too many clients, too much time into the marketing side of things. I just don't know what happened to actually doing the job of coaching. yeah, it's lost a little bit. Any input? Where have I covered it?
I think you covered it.
All right, next one.
Next one, that was the baggy t-shirt.
Oh yeah. So it used to be that if you're a bigger guy, you didn't want to show. You didn't want to show too much.
I will walk before Dan and I got together. As a more muscular female, I would wear baggy, oversized clothing to cover the muscles so that I wouldn't get stared at in town. Now it's a trend that if you're a smaller person, you wear baggier clothes, or in some cases, 4 hoodies when it's 25 degrees outside, and 3 pairs of jogging bottoms to look big. And yeah, just walk it like it's kind of taken over the
down. We haven't got a cover on, dude. I'm sorry.
Down.
I'll give you huggings later.
I've lost my train of thought.
But it's like the smaller guys have kind of realised that if they wear loads of baggy layers, no, you actually don't look bigger, but it hides the fact you're small.
And you smell because it's 30 degrees outside. Yeah, and wearing 4 hoodies.
Yes. So I'm kind of going out my way at the minute, just wear vests a lot, just to be anti it, to be honest. But it is also fucking too hot and I sweat a lot, so
I'm like roasting even just sat here.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing though. And the trends in the industry is people just wearing oversized clothing, trying to look bigger. How about you just get bigger? Like when you actually do the thing of getting bigger, it's actually not hard. Like there are genetic limitations, but
observationally, the people in the gym that are wearing the big baggy clothes are also the people in the gym that when I've done 3 sets on 3 different, like I've done my warm up, done my top set, done my back off, moved on to the next exercise, done my warm up, done my top set, done my back off, repeat. That person still sat on the same bit of kit on their phone that they picked up their phone as I started my first exercise. I'm now on my 3rd exercise. They're still on the same bit of kit and I've not seen them do a set.
I would love to say they're taking longer between sets because it takes them longer to get up to their top set because they are so strong. But it's not that at all. Think about it, like how much time does it take to set up their band, to
set up their tripod,
you know, and fucking get the right song for the top set. Takes a long time.
Breaking bits of equipment because they've resistant band the fuck out of it, overloaded it, and they're then doing a range of motion of about this much.
Yeah.
God, I've got bitch mode activated today.
God, do it.
Well, to start off with, the Smith at Unit 7's fucked, and I'm pretty damn sure it's down to people resistance banding it with too much weight on it. Some days you go in there and the bloody green band is round the actual arm of the hack to the point it takes both of us to get the band off. Now, say you're just like a normal person that wants to use the hack and doesn't want it banded. How the fuck are you going to get that band off?
And if you're one of those cunts that does it, I'm going to bring a pair of scissors and go put a slit in it. So next time you go down with enough weight, you ain't coming up. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it comes from the overcomplicated crew, doesn't it? Does. They wear the baggy stuff. Probably. What brand? A lot of them are wearing Gasp, which is a shame because I fucking love Gasp. Real shame. It's made me not wear so much of the stuff. I wear more of the HD stuff and the full bore stuff and the Europa when we're at the Europa Empro stuff because I know ain't nobody else wearing it. I don't want to be another clone. It's kind of taking the fun out of me wearing like it was Monster Factory.
Pretty sure I'm the only person wearing All Saints in the gym. Yeah. That's just because it's fucking Melissa's Top Shop, actually. Yeah,
it used to be Monster Factory, but it's less now, isn't there? Now it's Explosive Fibers down our way because we were wearing it in the gym. We had a photo shoot. Now everyone wears it.
I don't know if it's down to us.
Well, the bigger people in the gym wear a lot of Explosive Fibers, but now a lot of the other people followed.
Yeah,
Nat and people that train real hard. A lot of Gasp. What's another brand? Do you think?
There is some Trade by JP in for the mix.
Yeah, but less.
Yeah.
Less. It used to be Rampid, which is great, but it's the wrong people representing that brand for what it's meant to really be, whilst they're setting up their tripod. I'll record a set every now and then. I put a few sets up the other day.
It gets me to do it.
Yeah, but I'm
I am
not
his
fiddling around
tripod.
my phone, and I was rolling 5 plates aside. It's worth videoing, isn't it?
I can't be asked most of the time.
No, you don't, do you? You just train, which is
Yeah.
cool. I don't generally. I'll record if something's a little bit like, oh, that's quite heavy. I'll record it.
I record more than I post because I either forget to post it or I record it at such a bad angle. There's no point in posting it.
Yeah.
Posing videos are different.
Or you record an angle that just feeds fuel to the fire when it comes to muscle worshippers.
Yeah.
And you end up on YouTube as like people like zooming in on your pictures. The lovely Romana Scottson.
Did that happen with my routine?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's just fucking like, dude.
Another thing that pisses me off, and this isn't on your list, the fucking dickheads on Instagram who have got private fucking account with no posts, but feel the need to put stupid comments, like on my interview with Emilio, and they're saying something along the lines of, is that a man or a woman? I can't tell. Mate, I think you need to go back and study like primary school biology if you can't tell the difference between a male and female by the tone of their fucking voice.
It's like as well, at the time somebody thought you were a tranny we spoke about last time. It's like, I don't think most men like look like that.
Oh,
like,
and I had somebody try and cancel me in my DMs. Because right.
You were going on for this.
Yeah, it's got to me. And I have to keep going on about it because it's easier to go on about it than it is to reply. I've had somebody respond to one of my videos where I refer to myself as a retard when I knock that tiara off my head.
How did you actually say it? Was it like...
I said something like, me and being an utter retard, I managed to knock the tiara off my head within 30 seconds of them putting it on there.
So everything is offensive nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, oh, I find that word very... Or you might want to look at the use of the word retard. I've got a son with special educational needs and we find it very distressing and upsetting. Appreciate that. If I was saying so-and-so is a retard or those people are a retard, but I'm pretty sure if I want to call myself a retard, I can. And for the record, I've got dyslexia, so technically, well, not technically, I have a special educational need. And if I want to refer to myself as a retard, I will. Plus, there's the evolution of the world in colloquialisms, where the word retard can also mean idiot.
Yeah.
So I was being an idiot.
So it's actually technically correct what you said.
Yeah.
But I call myself a spastic all the time because it rhymes with bastic.
Yeah.
Am I not allowed to do that now?
I think there is a difference between, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're referring to people external to yourself, then yeah, there are acceptable and unacceptable things to words to use. But I think, you should be able to call yourself whatever the fuck you like on your Instagram page that somebody's chosen to watch.
I'm not going to call myself something I'm not, though.
No.
So there is a very obvious N-word that a lot of black people use it themselves, and they can use it about themselves because they're just saying it within their own people. So they could do what the fuck they want to do. But I'm not going to call myself it because I ain't black. I'm not. But I'm also not going to go call them that as well, because it's like I wouldn't go call that kid a retard.
No,
I wouldn't do it. That's a situation where the community in themselves can call it themselves if they want to do. Knock yourself out. And the whole thing with the N-word as well. Like when a black person refers to themselves and their people as that, if they want to, if they choose to, because many don't. Many have different opinions on it, but a lot of them do. You'll get white people and whatnot say, you can't say that. They can say what the fuck they want to say about themselves. Yeah. I'm not going to say it, but they can.
Yeah.
I think they went through enough hardship that they're allowed to do what the fuck they want.
Yeah, so that's my rant. Don't try and cancel me when I refer to myself.
It's just a soft world, isn't it? Soft, spindly fingers.
Slopey backed.
Yeah.
Lack of daylight.
Lack of daylight. Lots of dirty socks.
And the amount of people on those flights that we've done recently who can't even put a suitcase in an overhead locker.
On that note,
yeah.
Have we got anything else that's worth talking about, or do we save it for the next one? What's...
Okay, I think we've covered it.
Yeah, it's not really worth talking about that one. We did have some questions, but I'll be honest, they're on my phone. It's on charge in the other room, and that's expenditure.
And it's off season.
Yeah, definitely off season. What's time?
5:30.
Yeah, we've got a few things coming up that we've got to talk about next time.
Yeah,
we're going to see Brit in a few weeks.
Yep.
Looking forward to that. Brittany.
Robbie.
We're going up to Manchester.
Manchester.
How many days are we going for?
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5.
Robbie's very kindly given us his, I think his apartment, isn't it? So we're using his apartment as Airbnb, the legend that he is.
Taking the doggos.
Yes, we can take the doggos with us. We're spending 5 days in Manchester to feel some content. We're doing. We're doing content. Yeah, we're doing content. I know that Bex is up there with Tommy. He's got a powerlifting competition on Sunday, so really hoping we catch up with them, get a meal out with them. That'd be nice, won't it? Yeah, that'd be really cool. I'm just gonna ask Tommy.
I'd like to go to an art gallery while we're at there.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I think we've got some good ones.
I'm just gonna ask Tommy those rugby questions. He was a professional rugby player, so I had a consult with him once, and I swear I spent the whole time just asking questions about his rugby career. Brilliant.
Amazing. And they're opening a new gym in Stroud, which would be very exciting.
Yeah, I've actually got a message from Bex, and it's something along the lines of, I think they got the keys now.
Yeah, she said that actually last night. She also said that she had multiple different types of cardio equipment in her kitchen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's everywhere, is it?
Yeah. Her kitchen must be fucking massive, because we could barely fit a fucking recumbent bike in ours. No. We could barely fit Dan in ours, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be really exciting. When that gym opens, we'll have to go for the open day.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. See if we can bring an eval clinic as well. Do a bit of an event with them. That'd be cool.
Yeah, if it's after 10th of August.
Yes. It's after the 10th of August.
I will no longer be an employee of the NHS. If all my recruitment checks come out.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see about that. Yeah, it'll be all right. Right. We're done. We're just trying to find a way to round this off, really. It's more of a therapy session. We get to talk about all our issues in the world and come out of it like.
Which, considering I've already had one today.
You need more than one. It's like, Wolf of Wall Street, where Matt McConaughey talks about how many times he's got to wank a day to feel like level. It's like, how many therapy sessions a day do you have to be on? Kind of.
You're making out like I'm absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I know, she's not that bad, but PTSD is no joke, kids. It's
fucking Jekyll and Hyde.
It's not like depression at all. It's not like that. Totally different. It's definitely been a learning curve, but
it's easier now we know what it is. Before I just thought I was going batshit.
Yeah, it's cool to see. It's not nice to see you go through it, but it's also cool to see you learning about yourself. And it's almost like you're a very introspective person like I am, but you're almost leveling up the level which you are. And it's cool to see, like, we had a massive realization today about your PTSD.
Yeah.
Which we haven't done on the podcast about it, but it makes so much fucking sense. Yeah, so little breakthroughs like that is pretty. When
they join the ambulance service, kids.
Yeah, when you're going through it, and say if you're a partner of the person going through it and you truly care about that person, to see them have little breakthroughs like that, it's amazing to see that.
You're tearing up.
Yeah, because it means a lot to me. It really does mean a lot to me.
Dave, we better do his blood work. I think his estrogen's back.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah.
That's part of it. We sort of had I had the realization a couple of days ago, but I didn't vocalize it. I can't cry. So my emotional outlet is to get angry and irritable, which isn't much fun.
Yeah. Dave would be like, I'll just lower the testosterone. But no, Dave, can't I just add Primo? Surely it's better that way.
For me or for you?
For me. I just start taking some Primo for my TRT.
For your mental health.
For my mental health.
Yeah.
Spelled with an F.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Manu's like, can you hurry the fuck up so I can lie back down on the sofa, please?
Yeah. Do you want to say goodbye to everyone? Come here.
I have no idea what Ruby
Come
is.
here.
Ruby!
Come here. Come say
I
hello.
have to shout because she's
Hello.
deaf. Ruby! Rubes!
Say goodbye to everyone. Dinner time.
Do you want your tea time?
What? Dinner time.
She must be somewhere where she can't hear us.
Oh,
She probably fucked off to try and find some food.
Oh my word.
Ruby? Oh, here we go. Come on.
Where was she? She was only probably there.
She was in her day bed.
Yes. This is the family, everybody. Yes. Somebody screenshot that, then momentarily.
The family portrait.
Yes. Right. We
What's this Tobin doing?
Tobin? Looks like it's putting the middle finger on.
Where are you guys? Hurry the fuck up and feed me.
That's a Ruby voice, everybody.
Yeah.
She talks.
Of course, because she's got a squishy face.
Yeah. She ran into a wall. More than once, trust me. Yeah.
Yeah. Just irritating her because I can.
Okay. Right. Are we turning us off? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Zach, can I turn it off because you didn't know how to work it?
What do I do? Professionalism, everybody.
Ooh, ooh.